everybody, and welcome back to my mini fall lunch and learn series. I'm Helen Panos, for those of you that don't know me, the owner of Dynamis Learning. It's a K through 12 tutoring, SAT, ACT prep company and executive function. I'm not going to move my head much because I feel like I only have this much of a box. This became vertical on us, so we will fix it next time. So I am here again with another guest, and her name is Adrienne. Is it Achille? Did I say that right? Achille.
Achille, like the Greek god.
Achille,
Yes.
like the hill.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I've known Adrienne for quite a while, and she's going to talk a little bit today about play therapy. And that would be, she'll tell you the age groups that's best for. And she is the owner of Expressive Healing. It's out of the Marietta area. And I will let her introduce herself and her background.
Yes. Hello. Thank you again, Helen. I know we did one of these like 10 years ago or 6 years ago. So it's been a while. But I'm glad to be back. Yes. So I am a licensed professional counselor and a registered play therapist. So I work in a private practice setting. I recently opened Expressive Healing in June, but I have been practicing for a long time now in many different settings, from private practice groups to intensive in-home. That's where I would go into the home and work with families, sometimes having 2-hour sessions 3 times a week. Then I've done school-based, where I would go into the school and I would work with kids, kind of pull them from class and work with kids in that way. And then I've also worked in a private school. My last placement was at a school called Jacob's Ladder, which is a neurodiverse school. So that was wonderful there. And I was their counselor on staff there. So now, being in my own private practice setting, I see a lot of different ages, but because play therapy is my specialty, I would say ages 3 to, honestly, teenage years. But for play therapy specifically, 3 to around 10, 12, depending on developmental age, is usually who I use specifically play therapy with. But I have a lot of teenagers that I see and a lot of young adults that I see, like still teenage years, but they're now adults.
Right.
And for what I'm using is a lot of play-based, art-based, expressive modalities, kind of getting out of the cognitive brain a little bit, getting into the body, getting into the subconscious, and working through challenges in that way. So that's kind of how I incorporate everything in there. And yeah, that's like a little nutshell who I am and my background a little bit.
Well, cool. Yes. Gosh, I bet we did do a Facebook Live about maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm thinking that's pretty cool. I'm still doing them today. Yeah, I've been doing these lunch and learn. I did a summer lunch and learn, and I've already finished that one up and decided to do this mini one.
Yeah.
But you were probably part of my summer lunch and learn like 3 years ago when I first started them. That's awesome. So how do you involve parents or caregivers in the play therapy process?
Yes. So play therapy, I specifically will work one-on-one with a child in session, and we work through whatever the challenge is, using toys, using art, like I said, and play. Kind of a little background on play before I jump into parents. Play is the most developmentally appropriate form of therapy for young kids. Even those kids that are talkers, that just like to chat with you and seem a little bit more mature than the other kids, I still say play is the best form for them. If a kid comes into my office and doesn't want to play and just chats with me the whole time, that's fine too. I kind of go with what the child is presenting and what they need. But I like to think of play as children's language, and then toys as their words. So what they can't say, what they don't understand and can't verbalize to you because cognitively they're still developing, they're able to play that out with the toys, with the art, and that's kind of where the healing and where the work happens, is kind of through that. So sometimes it's symbolic, where or sometimes it's more direct, where if a child is like challenged with authority or control, I see that a lot in the play therapy room. Just it's a kid that gets in trouble a lot at school, who is sent to the principal's office a lot. Some play themes that I might see is something more direct, where I'm now the student and the child is now the teacher, and now they get to direct me, and they're kind of working through that. But then sometimes it's a little bit more symbolic, where there's some control aspect where they're telling me how to play. So they're controlling how the session goes.
That's interesting.
Or sometimes it's like a good guy versus bad guy. So they're playing out, they have two figures and kind of playing out this good versus bad, which is them kind of processing this idea of like, am I bad? Are my behaviors bad? What is good? So symbolically, they're kind of playing that out. Where I like to incorporate parents is because parents are with their kids way more than I am.
Right.
See a child once a week, sometimes once every couple weeks. So it's really important that we're all collaborating together. So I usually work with parents or meet with parents every 4 sessions, so once a month about, and I kind of gather some updates from parents. So what are they seeing? What do we still need to work on? That also helps me like figure out progress as well. And then what I'm seeing, so I'll give kind of an overview of themes, an overview. If we're doing more directive activities, then I'll say, oh, this is what we're practicing in session. We're doing some deep breathing. We've been talking a lot about feelings. And then I give parents a little tool to use at home. So it may just be how to validate feelings, or how to just kind of like some wording on what to say when they react a certain way. It may be how to set a limit or a rule at home and do it in a way that still helps them feel a little bit more in control, the child feel a little bit more in control. And or it may just be, I want you once a week to do a family game night, and help build that relationship. So that kind of giving the parents tools can also help them feel more confident at home. I've actually seen a lot of parents who have told me that they've done therapy in the past with their child, but just didn't get a lot of feedback or input from the therapist on what they should be doing at home. And for me, that's really, really important, because that's where the real work comes in, when we're all together and we can use the same wordage, we can do the same things. That's where you're really going to see the progress.
Yeah, true. Yes. That's what I was just saying to a parent the other day about executive functioning. We might come in there 1 hour, but what we, especially with elementary, what we do here in person or virtually, is just an hour in a week. So now it needs to also be reinforced at home several times for him to catch on faster, for this to be much more beneficial too.
Yes.
So I like to compare it to working out, right? You work out once every 5 months, well, you're not going to see a benefit. You work out several times a week, you're going to see a benefit.
And that consistency piece, which can be really, really hard for parents to be consistent, because sometimes it is just easier to give in. Like, they're screaming, they want that extra cookie or whatever it is, they want that toy at the supermarket, and they're having a meltdown. It is a lot easier in the moment to just say, fine, You get the toy. I'll give it to you. And in the short term, sure, that'll be easier, but in the long term, it's reinforcing some of those behaviors. And so consistency really is key, to consistently set the same limit every time, to set the same rule. And that also helps the child understand, okay, this is what the rule is. Like, no matter how I behave, this is what the rule is going to be.
Yeah.
So for me to come in and be that accountability to say, okay, how did that go? Oh, we gave in again. That's okay. That's okay. Let's, how can we work differently next time? What can we do different next time to ensure that you're able to be consistent and follow through with those rules? So I'm that accountability partner, and kind of like your workout partner.
Cool. And how do you track progress in play therapy?
Great question. So when I meet with parents, and I'll kind of go through my kind of the how therapy looks. So I'll meet with a parent and we'll do an intake session. So that's where parents will fill out information, a bunch of background stuff about the child. I'll meet with the parents individually, without the child present, and just ask some more follow-up questions. And this helps me get a more comprehensive overview of the child, so I can kind of really understand what I'm looking at. Then from there, I'll have about 4 sessions to do my assessment, where I meet the child. We're building rapport. I'm seeing how they interact with me, how they interact with things in the room. And then I usually try to do a family session where I'm observing the family and how the family plays. That helps me, like, family dynamics,
Yeah.
how do the siblings interact?
Great idea.
And that kind of just gives me a little overview, and also it helps me to figure out what maybe even I can help parents with. After those 4 sessions, around 4 sessions, I'll meet with just the parents again, and we'll develop a treatment plan. So this has all of the goals. So if it's a child that struggles with some control seeking, maybe we're working on following directions. Maybe there's an emotional regulation piece where, like, every time they don't want to do their math homework, there's a complete meltdown. Maybe so I'll add in a goal for emotional regulation. And then I'll be very specific. I usually ask parents specific questions of, like, how long are the meltdowns? How many times a week are the meltdowns? And the more specific I can get, that'll help me track progress even more. So if when we first met, it was a 30-minute meltdown 3 times a day. But then in 3 months, we see there's 1 meltdown every day lasting 3 minutes. See that, okay, there is progress. Now, are we done? No, we're not done. There's still work to be done. But there's definitely some progress. And there'll be those days that are just rough days too. Like, we all have, sometimes I want to have a meltdown too. And it's just one of those days. So every month when I have those parent meetings, that's where I will get some information from parents. How are the meltdowns? Have they been to the principal's office? Like, give me, how are they doing at home? And that's where I'll track some of that progress from the parent. And then in session, I will look at themes. So the themes are kind of like what I said. Maybe it'll be a control theme where the child's always telling me what to do in the session, and always wants to just, like, dictate the whole thing. Maybe I start to see that the child is now giving me a little bit of open opportunity to choose what I want to play, or is asking me for my opinion on how we should do things together, and is more collaborative. Or maybe from the good, bad, I at first saw a lot of that theme of good versus bad. And now that theme has gone away. We're kind of moved past that. So usually when a theme goes away and I don't see the repetitive pattern, then I know that they've worked through that and we're going somewhere else. So looking at those kind of themes too will help me. And sometimes they come back. Maybe like something happened at school and the theme comes back. It was a tough day at school. I'm seeing it again. And that's kind of a little bit, we'll have a little bit of a roller coaster a little bit. And I do tell parents at the beginning that behaviors might get worse before they get better. And the reason for this is, especially if a child has never gone to any kind of therapy, if you've ever been to therapy, it's hard. You have to do a lot of self-reflection. You're working through tough, uncomfortable things. Even if I'm not directly asking the child, oh, I heard you went to the principal's office. I don't, that's not how we do things typically. It's more like thematic, especially for play therapy. But they're still working through things. They're still working through going to the principal's office, even if we're not talking about it, because they're working through it with the items, with the toys. And when that happens and it's uncomfortable, okay, I hate these feelings. I'm going to have more outbursts. And I always tell parents, just let me know. Let me know if this happens, because it probably will. And I know, okay, we're doing some work. They're moving through these uncomfortable feelings, and then they'll start dipping back down. The roller coaster will go up, but then it'll come back down.
Sorry, somebody's clicking on me. Somebody was trying to, I think, get a hold of me because I heard it tick, tick, tick. Well, that's great. I mean, I mean, what you do is, I'm sure, a big service to a lot of families. Because you really gotta, I know people probably should know this, but I feel like it needs to be said that the earlier you fix things in children, right? Instead of waiting to see if it's going to fix itself. I think it makes people's lives easier later on, or it's going to get harder to fix. Is that correct, Adrienne?
I always say that the earlier, kind of with anything, the earlier you can get in and start making, like working through some of those things, the better. Because this provides them with tools, this provides them with a safe place. Because really play therapy for kids, it's a safe space for them to process through really tough emotions. I have parents ask me sometimes, like, why do I let them do, and I'm using my quotes, aggressive things in the play session. And when I say aggressive, it's more like, I have a dart gun, I have handcuffs in here, and I allow them to handcuff me. I allow them to like shoot me with the dart gun, like below the face.
Wow.
And it's so that they are able to work through those tough emotions in a safe space without the real world consequences. If you shoot someone with a dart gun, maybe that's not okay. Or if you handcuff someone, or if you pretended to, whatever it is, that would not be okay in the real world, but it's okay in our session because it's safe, it's contained, and they're working through something that's really important for them to work through. So yeah, the earlier they can come in and work through that, the earlier they can get coping skills, the better. And it's it's good to pair that with executive functioning, because I do work with a lot of neurodiverse kids, ADHD, autism, Down syndrome, where executive functioning is a challenge. So they come to see me, like a kid with ADHD, they would come to see me to work through the feelings surrounding, oh, I'm not getting my work in on time. Oh, I'm the disruptive one in the class. All those tough feelings that are hurting self-esteem, that are hurting confidence. That's where they're coming to me. But then I would send them to executive functioning for those other pieces of planning, time management, all of those things. So I love pairing those two together.
That's awesome. Great. Yep. Executive functioning is definitely getting very popular.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know that, we do offer it. We're working on adding in the elementary as well. Right now we're doing middle and high schoolers. But pretty soon in 26, we'll start the elementary as well. So If you don't know what it is, go to my website, dynamislearningacademy.com. There's a page under programs and services called Executive Function. It describes it there quite a bit. I've had Facebook Lives with Crystal, my coach, several times, and you can scroll back on my Dynamis page or even my personal page and find it. And on my podcast, Smart Parents, Successful Students podcast, Crystal did several of the podcasts last season in 14. So you can find out a lot about it. Or you can, of course, use AI and find out about it. But a lot of the main is, we call it, there's big 8. And the biggest ones are emotional control, task initiation, let's see, time management, prioritization. That happens more with people that get busier, like middle to high school.
Mm-hmm.
I would say emotional control might be the biggest one for younger children.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Yeah.
And they've got to learn how to deal with that, of course. So play therapy is one way that you could do that. So I'm glad Adrienne joined me today. You'll probably see Adrienne on my season 15 podcast. So we'll be recording season 15 here in December. So it'll start rolling out in mid-January for season 15. I can't believe I've been doing it 15 seasons. It's been over 5 years that I've been doing the podcast. And the company is almost 10 years in January. I started when I was full-time teacher, so I did it very slowly. So really the last 5 years, it's been full-fledged, full-time.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have 20 tutors that work for me. And boy, are they busy right now. We've been getting a lot of calls in the last week or two and still getting them and seeing if I can squeeze in one more for the end of the semester. So yes, first semester grades are the most important. I don't know if people knew that or not, but they are, because teachers use those to make placements for the following fall. If you didn't know that, you've learned a big tidbit today, other than about play therapy, of course. But yep, grades are very important first semester, and that's how they dictate. They use Georgia milestones and that to dictate what you're going to go into. Or if you're in high school, you don't take Georgia milestones, they use other things. But they already make those placements in February, folks, and they finalize them. Very few changes are made in May, very few. So definitely make sure your children, you're looking at their grades here during the break, because I know today's the last day of school for most counties. And reach out. I'll be working Monday, Tuesday, probably a little bit of Wednesday too. So if we need to talk, that's a good time so we can get you a tutor to start off at December 1 if it's needed. Because we could probably still get a grade up, but it's not going to be too easy, but we can probably do it. All righty. Well, thank you, Adrienne, again for coming on.
And Helen, I wanted to just
mention. Tell them how to contact you, other than I have your website up there.
So you can contact me through my website. Also, my phone number is on the website too, but website would be best. And you'll see all the other offerings that I have: parent coaching, family therapy. But I'm also starting 2 groups in January. One is yoga for anxious moms. So I'm also a yoga teacher. This group is really great. It'll be for moms to connect, for moms to share their experience, and then also to learn some grounding techniques. So it'll be a combination of yoga, but also sharing. It'll be an hour-and-a-half group that starts goes January to March, and it starts that's on Saturdays at 9 a.m.
Is it in person or virtual?
It's in person.
In person.
In my Marietta office. So that'll be, I'm really excited about that group. And then my other group is called Child Parent Relationship Training. So I'm trained in this manualized group. Essentially, it's teaching parents play therapy skills. You'll learn the skills. You'll learn how to better understand what your kids' emotional needs are. You'll learn these play therapy skills and practice them at home. And then you'll just overall be able to connect with your child better. And I have 2 offerings for this, actually. There's a Monday night that's at my office. And then there's an additional offering at the Wiggle Giggle Playtorium. So Wiggle Giggle is about 7 minutes down the road in Marietta. It's like an indoor play house. And so this will be great because we're offering childcare. So if that's the issue that, oh, I'd love to go to this, but I don't have anyone to watch my child, bring them. It's just an extra $10 every time that you come, and they get to play in this really fun and cool area while
Oh, yeah.
you
That's
do
cool.
the group. And so that'll start January 15th. It's an 8-week program, and it'll be Thursdays at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
So all that information is on my website. But
Do you know where that is located? What street that's on?
it's on Powder Springs Street. So it's the
Okay.
same street that my office is located on. It's just kind of down
Further
the road about 7 to 10 minutes.
down. Okay. That must be a long road.
Long road. I've driven down to check out Wiggle Giggle, and it's great. But yeah,
That's awesome. Well, I am so glad you're doing these things because, hey, parents need a lot of
yeah,
choices and things. They need information. They need to learn some ways to approach these situations that just come up, and there's no guide for parenting, really. So
yeah,
you've got to reach out to people like Adrienne to help you out.
and
And the
these
more you add to your arsenal, the better.
yeah, these are great because you can connect with other parents. Sometimes you
Yeah,
feel alone, but these are great opportunities for you to realize, oh, I'm not alone. Like there are other parents out
buddy.
experiencing the same things, maybe in a little bit of a different way, and they can provide good insight as well to how they're handling things.
Kind of like a parent mastermind, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well, great. Thank you again, Adrienne. And I'm going to bring this, zoom it back out. If you'll hold on after I end the call, I just want to
Yeah.
ask you a couple things. All righty, guys. Take care. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.